Hey everybody, that's what I love about electrics. Hey, go! Wee-hoo! It's like being boinged by a rubber band. You know, you've got instant pull, but it just sort of goes... launches. You feel like you've been launched. So yes, I'm on the Zero FX that I've still got on loan from English Electric. This is just one of my random ones. I've just been off the island to get some prawns. Believe it or not, living on an island surrounded by the sea, I can't buy fresh fish there. Oh, a correction to something I recently said, and I knew it was going to come back to bite me in the butt when I said it. I said there are no manual electric bikes. And what I really mean by it is I've none I've ever heard of that seem to be relevant in today's world. However, I was wrong, there is one. It's a Win or something, I can't remember. It's a little 125 equivalent with a 5-speed manual transmission. And as it turns out, there is a company not that far from me that sell them, and I'm going to go to them soon. And well, after I've got through the next couple of review bikes, I'm going to go to them and see if I can borrow one. Because I want to ride an electric with a gearbox. I want to just experience what that is like, because it's going to be weird. I believe it was done for extra top speed, because it hasn't got the RPMs, but it has got torque. And that's the thing, I mean, does a motorcycle electric, need a gearbox or not? The idea of a gearbox generally, if you think about it, is when your car's at its fastest, you're in top gear and your engine's almost one-for-oneing. Like, the rotations to axle rotations, wheel rotations is getting close to being one-for-one, I think, right? But obviously to get torque out of the engine, you have to have a gearbox so you can step that down. With an electric, it has mostly torque, and it can also go super fast in the RPMs, but then it's going to need to be a bit more expensive motor to do that. So maybe they've got a cheaper motor which has got good torque but can't do the same RPMs, and that's why they put a gearbox on it. Or maybe it's just for people who are like, oh, I need a gearbox. I mean, it's so weird, the idea of having a clutch and a gearbox on an electric. But then at the same time, it shouldn't be. I don't think it will will it become a normality? That's a real question. Will electrics, over time, to try and make people adopt them easier, will they go to manuals? But then if efficiency is the thing we're after, there is no point doing that because you lose efficiency. When you start to understand physics, it's quite interesting because you can start to ask questions like, well, where is the power from the batteries in this bike going? Is it all going to the motor? Is it all going to drive me down the road? No, it's not. Because you can hear it. Sound, that's energy. That sound has been created by the electricity in the battery. There is, energy loss there. You have heat loss. That's one of the big ones. Heat loss is an absolute nightmare. And obviously if you do anything other than directly connect the wheel to the motor, you're going to have losses there too. That's why hub motors are a thing. They don't have huge torque, but they can spin up eventually to give you the speed. On this, you've got the motor and a pulley, and then a belt, and then a giant pulley on the rear. Each of those connections through the system between the motor turning and the wheel turning is lost in efficiency and energy. So putting a gearbox and a clutch in the middle of it is just horrendous when it comes to efficiencies, I would have said. And I'd say this is off my, what you call, back of a napkin calculations in my head. I have taught myself an awful lot about these sorts of things so I can kind of make some fairly good guesses, I think. So as much as I know people will be like, oh, I'd be more interested in electric with a manual gearbox in it, I don't think you're going to see it, unless it's going to be for a novelty. Is that a double-decker bike? Yeah, it's one of the old double-deckers. I remember when they ran on the... I'm sure I remember when we had open-top double-deckers on the island in the past. Oh, whoops. Yeah, this will do that if you're not careful. Oh yeah, I'll show you this. We are on a random video. I'm allowed to talk about a million different things at once that aren't connected. That is the law. The skate park here, which you may be aware of from me passing it in videos and also from racing a remote control car around it, they raised about 200 grand and they're rebuilding it as a big concrete, like looking like a pool and stuff like that with bowls and half pipes. Jesus, can't even think. The sort of more modern layout of a skate park. Should be quite cool for the kids, give them something to do. Nothing like that when I... Well, actually we did. We had a mud track that you could ride a BMX round or something, but it wasn't that great. That's why I kind of spent my time looking at the wildlife. If you're a kid growing up here and you're not like a nerd that's interested in, sea life and wildlife and the bugs and stuff that are in the bushes and learning about other random stuff, you could get quite bored here. I mean, you can play in the sea, sure, but there is only so much you can do with that. And you don't really want to do that these days because it's full of poo. Oh, the amount of human excrement in that sea is just, well, the thing is, I can show you, this really is going random, but this is brilliant. Okay, so, they've been dumping sewage in the sea here for a long time, and they say it's only when it's raining, but it's not, as it's been proven, and we're talking a lot, okay? By law, they have to, I think, tell people about the fact that there is sewage going on here, and the way they've done that is with this. You know, this looks like a nice holiday thing, you know, sea and sun. And then what it actually says is, welcome to Hailing Island Seafront, water quality. After heavy rainfall, check the sea is safe for swimming. Up-to-date information about release of stormwater and or waste can be found on the Southern Water Beach Boy app. It's basically, there is an app, there is a water testing buoy that they put out there, so I hope we can trust their figures, right? Well, rather, that was independent. That tells you the level of particulates of human excrement in the sea. The reason this is a problem is because of E. coli and stuff. You can get very sick. Yeah, and they've warned people with that little notice, which is, it's not like they made it to just blend in with the off-peak parking for just 60. It literally is telling you there is human shit in the sea, and they've done it like that. And the funny thing about this is, you may have seen a recent video that went viral across TikTok and stuff of. It's filmed from a balcony on some hotel somewhere in the world, and they are dumping brown stuff into the sea. Now, they're proclaiming it to be poop, and I assume it is. I don't know for sure. It could be rainwater, like muddy rainwater for all I know. However, people have gone mad about that, going, oh my god, look, it's disgusting how they're putting poo in the sea. The UK has been doing it for a very long time, and they're also doing it into rivers. Our rivers and our seas are mostly full of our crap. Literally. Not just the plastic crap that we leave there, but the actual crap, the physical turds, the brown sharks. And for that reason, even though I live here next to the sea, I haven't been in it for a few years because it's just disgusting, the thought. And they're sort of going, oh, you know, it's only, this is where I was starting with this, it's only a little bit of poo, it's only a little bit of poo. Imagine someone brings your plate of food over to you in a restaurant, and then you're like, what's that brown stuff on the side of the plate? The tiny little speck, and he's like, oh, that's some poo. And you're like, what? That's shit on my plate. Yeah, yes, but it's only a little bit. Oh, okay, then that's fine. No. The acceptable level of crap in the sea is 0. Now, this has been going on years, but some say it's completely down to us leaving a certain union. Let's not get into that argument, but apparently they can't get the chemicals to treat it, and that is the problem as to why they're dumping it in the sea, but that wouldn't explain why they were doing it when I was younger. And have been doing it historically for years and years and years, and they've been fined many, many times for it. Yes, they do get fined for doing this, but it's cheaper than actually upgrading the system to the point that it can actually cope with that much turds. It's because when it gets heavy rain, it mixes in with the sewage, and then there's just too much for the system to cope with, and they have to basically just dump it in the sea. But it seems like they're using dumping it in the sea as a not a last resort, but as just do that, it's easier. Okay, well, thank you very much for joining me. If you enjoyed this video, whatever it was, please hit that like button. I'm going to enjoy a nice barbecue with Reno this evening, and chill out tomorrow and get to recording the review and make a couple more videos on this before it goes back. And then in a few days after that, I've got 2 more petrol bikes coming. So as I say, thank you for watching. Help support this channel through Patreon, and I will catch you in the next one. Bye-bye.